Hello and welcome to Descender. My name is Luke, also known as Tianere. We are going to continue from the last video and start expanding our parser and actually start parsing our HTML. So we've got our tokens. If we run this, we can see that we get a whole bunch of results with lots of different tokens that we can use to work out different things. Now, what I'm going to do in this is start taking those tokens and start doing something with them. Peeking ahead, having a look at... basically, we're going to be parsing HTML. That's all you really need to know. So, let's begin by expanding this file, parser.odin, or actually, it'll be this one here. So I'm going to get rid of this HTML crap. I don't need that anymore. But we've got some things in here: tags, fields, HTML parser, scope, these things. I don't think I need this. We've got things like void tag names, which we're going to be checking, but I think the first thing I'm going to do is we're just going to check for the doc type and just ignore it. And then assume everything else is an element. So what I'm going to do is create our HTML parser. Now we're actually using underscore base parser here. So we could do that. However, I don't think we need to do that anymore. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get our tokens. We're going to get our list of tokens. We're going to make it a reference to a slice of tokens like that. And then we will create our HTML parser, applying all of this. Now we don't need that anymore. So we're just going to have it like this. We do actually need to create a HTML parser. Or I'll call it HTML create. And we're going to pass in our tokens, which is our array, our slice of tokens, not an array. We're going to get back our HTML parser. So in here, we'll create our HTML parser. I'm going to pass in our tokens like that. And what I'm also going to do is initialize these ones here. So I'm actually going to do make. That is a dynamic of tags, and same with fields as well. So make dynamic of fields. So these are pointers, and the reason why is because we're going to heap allocate them. I'm not going to make structures for them. I'm actually going to heap allocate them. It'll be easier to manage. So that's that. So if we go back to main, so I'm going to get rid of this now. Don't need that. And put this back in. We want our tokens. Reference to it, I mean. And then we're actually going to parse the HTML parsers that we've created. So HTML underscore parse. That's going to take a reference to our parser, or a pointer to it. And we're not going to return anything, so we're actually going to parse things in this context. So the first thing I'm going to do, like I say, we're just going to check the tokens and we're going to see which things we don't need. I'm going to go for t index in t dot tokens. In fact, actually, Actually, I'm wondering, what does pop do? Pop front. Ah, will remove and return the first value of a dynamic. Uses, yes, this is what we want. So, yeah. What I'm going to do instead, I'm going to do it like an array. We'll do I in 0 dot dot then, and we'll grab our token, which is going to be pop front p dot tokens. That needs to be a reference. Is it not like that? Oh, because it's not a dynamic, that's why. Or as a slice, it's not a dynamic. I can't do it with, no. Hold on. Oh, I've got a slice already. So I think there must be another way to do this. Do slice, possibly. Not sure if it'll let me. I think the slices might be quite efficient anyway. Not sure if it's got anything like that in slices. We have first. So we have first, which gets the first element. But I think, in all honesty, we might as well just go back to what we had before. We'll just do it like this. That would make the most sense, probably. I would think so. All right. So, first thing I'm going to do, we're going to do a switch on our type. And we're going to check what we've got. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check for less than. Let's make it a partial switch for now. So if we've got a case that is like this, actually, you know what? I think I would prefer an index variable, but doing it outside of this context here. So if I do it like this, hold on, I'm going to do true or true. I'm going to do t is equal to p dot tokens. The reason I'm going to do this, I'll explain why. So I'm going to give myself the ability to peek. So we're going to do peek. We're going to take a reference to our tokens. Or alternatively, let me do it a different way. If I put in a cursor here, make that like that, and then we'll make this cursor is equal to 0. And then what I'll do is pass in our parser. and we get back a token type. Or we want to check, no. It's going to return a Boolean, and we're going to check if the next type is correct, what we're looking for. So we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to check to see if we can look forward. So can look forward. Pass in our HTML parser once again. I'm going to return a Boolean. And here I'm just going to say if p.cursor plus 1 is less than len p.tokens, we can just return this, I think. So if can look forward p return p.tokens p.cursor plus 1 type is equal to type, otherwise return false, like this, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if peak forward, or if peak, sorry, we're going to pass in our parser, and here I'm going to look and see if we've got an exclamation. If we do, then we're either comments or DOCTYPE. So we're going to peak again. So we're going to advance for one thing. In fact, this should be p.cursor since we've now got that. We can get rid of that. So I'm going to have another thing here called advance. Proc p HTML parser. Again, we're going to return a Boolean to tell us whether we could advance or not. So if we can look forward, then we're going to return. I'm going to say p.cursor plus equals 1 and then return true. Otherwise, we're going to return false. So we'll advance. And then we're going to check to see if when we peak again, it's either an identifier or dash. So if we dash, I think what I might do, we'll do, I think, a peak value. Hold on. Peak nut. Let's do that. HTML parser. Num int. So how many number of times you want to peek forward, and we check that type, token type. So we're doing quite a bit of boilerplate here, but that's fine. Once we've got this functionality, it will just make our life so much easier. So I'm going to have another one here, can look num. HTML parser. The return p.cursor plus. We actually need our num in here. An int plus num. Len p.tokens. So That'll basically be the same as doing can look num1, where in this case we're going to do 2. Oops, I didn't mean to do insert mode. So what I'm going to do is say if can look num p num turn p.tokens p.cursor plus num.type is equal to type. So we check to see if that works, otherwise we return false there if we can't look forward. And then we can do it here as well. So we'll do if peak p dot dash and peak p, or not peak num p to dash, then this basically means we are a comment. So we're basically going to iterate until we find that we've finished the comment. So is comment, we're going to say false. And in here, I'm going to say is comment is equal to true. I'm going to break out of this. I'm not going to break out of this, because you don't technically break out switch statements, but you can do it by applying a label to it. So we'll just do type switch like that, and then I'll call it break type switch. I can type switch. Let's break out of our type switch. Break would, if we broke, we don't break the switch statement because there's no such thing as breaking switch statements nodes, and we will end up breaking out of the for loop, which we don't want to do. So we just want to keep advancing the cursor. And talking about that, we need to do plus equals 1 there. Need to double check and make sure that we can actually use the cursor. So I'll make sure that we can do that. So let's just double check p.tokens there. And if that's not the case, we'll do it like that, and then we can break out of the for loop if that's the case. In any other case, if we are a comment, then we're going to check to see if peak p dot dash and peak p dot peak num, I should say, p2 dash and peak num once again, p3. This one is going to be a greater than sign. Then we break out of the comments and we do not continue. Else continue. We're basically ignoring whatever the comment is. We ignore everything. That's going to be the same if we're a DOCTYPE as well. So I'm going to do the same here. So is DOCTYPE is false. So if that's not the case, then we'll say if peak p. So we've already checked the exclamation. We just want to advance. We've advanced p. So we're now looking at the exclamation, and we want to check what's in front of the exclamation. So we check to see if there's a dash two dashes first. If it's not, then it's probably not a comment, it's something else. So we peek to see if we've got an identifier. Now, we don't actually have a function that allows us to know what that identifier is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say peek identifier, which is going to do two things. So pass in our parser, and this time we want to check what that ident string is. And then we get our Boolean value back. That. So we first of all check to see if peek p is our identifier, and if that's the case, then we're going to return p dot tokens p dot cursor dot value is equal to ident. Otherwise we return false. So let's do that one. So if we do peek identifier, pass in our parser, and we want to check for DOCTYPE, right? If that's the case, then we do is DOCTYPE is equal to true. And we're doing the same thing here as well. Break the type switch. So if that's the case, then we're going to say if is DOCTYPE. What I'm going to do this time is just do peek p dot greater than I'm going to do is DOCTYPE is false, else continue, like that. And what I'm going to do just to test this, I'm going to give us back a slice of tokens, and we're just going to check to see what the result is. So I'm just going to do something real quick here. It's a dynamic token, just for testing purposes. And here I'm just going to say case. And we'll do the same here as well. So I'll just go append results p oops, result t, and we're going to return that. We're done. There we go. Right, so we'll just return that for now. Inside of our main, I'm going to resulting tokens. I'm just going to call it that because I don't know what else to call it. And then we're just going to, what do I call it? HTML parse. Right. HTML. Oops. HTML parse. Parsing our HTML parser. Like this. And then defer delete resulting tokens. Like this. Right. I should probably do the same here as well, actually. Defer delete tokens. We should also do something like this as well. Defer delete. Actually, it won't be delete, it'll be free. Leave HTML parser. Because we don't actually do that either. We need to. Wait, is it a free or delete here? No, it is delete. My bad. We'll just do that. It's always good practice to delete things that you allocate on the heap. Right. So what I want to do now is just have a look at the results of that, just to see if we are ignoring DOCTYPE and comments correctly. Obviously, it'll only just be the DOCTYPE, but if we've got our resulting tokens, and we do kind of like a fancy expression of those tokens, resulting tokens. So let's go ahead and do that and see what happens. So let's go ahead and build and run. Have a look. Do we have? I better not see any DOCTYPE here. We go right to the top here. We still have the DOCTYPE there. Interesting. Less than. So what are we doing? Because we're supposed to be ignoring that. Is there a particular reason why we're doing that? Am I doing something wrong here? I'm just going to do something quick here. So we're just going to do token percentage VT. Just to check what's going on. And I suppose really what I could do is also make sure we're passing these ones. So I'm just going to do pass here. Or pass comments. Call it pass comments so that we can differentiate. I mean, it's going to be pretty obvious. But let's just double check that, see what's going on. Right. Token. Getting lots of less than's. Doesn't look like we pass anything though. That's interesting. Suppose if we're continuing, then we're not actually advancing anything. Wait, hold on a minute. As we don't actually advance, it might be a good idea to do that because we're not actually doing it down here. In fact, do it like that. That'll probably be the best thing to do. Interesting. Well, let's just double check that. Build, run. Oh, we're in an infinite loop scenario. That's not good. What's going on now? So we're printing this, but it doesn't look like we're doing this. Hold on a minute. Press exclamation. Exclamation. When I click on the command prompt, I would like you to activate. Just, you see what I mean? What is it doing? So, okay, so we pass exclamation, but we're still apparently looking at less than. Or, okay, we peak that, but when we what we don't do actually is actually get the latest token, which is what we're supposed to do here. So when we advance, no, probably shouldn't do it like this. Probably get the token. That might be better. So get the token, and then that would make more sense. Return. What are we doing here? An invalid token, I suppose. Let me create an invalid token. I'll do it in here. Invalid. Where are we? So I'm just going to put type here. It's going to be called invalid. So when we advance, we'll get our new token. So t is equal to advance p. So anywhere we do advance, we're going to get our token. So that t is going to be advance p. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's going to be advance. That isn't. So we'll just we'll go back to what we had before. Just do that. Plus equals, I mean. Right. So we advance here. We don't do it here, so we need to do t is equal to advance p. T is equal to advance p. I suppose really it doesn't. I'm not doing anything with that, so we can just do this. Just want to make sure we get the next character on the next part of the loop. And then, in theory, that should give us the results we want. Will you stop that? Come on. Right. That's a bit better. What are we doing now? So we pass. Token exclamation. Token. Got lots of less than. Weird. Exclamation DOCTYPE. Well, that's not quite working. Pass DOCTYPE. I don't see the pass DOCTYPE. Peak identifier. We're doing peak identifier, right? So when we go into here, we've got the exclamation, right? Then we've got token value DOCTYPE type identifier. I just typed it wrong. Looks like I have. Let's have a look here. Good old printfs. I'm going to put in our cursor here and see what's going on. Because that will tell us a few things for sure. Suppose actually, I'm not doing +1 here. That would make sense. But it works. Sort of. So we pass DOCTYPE, we pass exclamation, pass DOCTYPE, but we don't ignore the HTML or the greater than, which is what I want. So why aren't we doing that? So we know our DOCTYPE is now this. The DOCTYPE is true, we know that now. Get rid of these ones. Get rid of our token here. Don't need to do that anymore. So is DOCTYPE peak p dot greater than? It's false. If not, we continue. So it looks like it's almost as if we're peeking forwards. We'll check our cursor again. See what's going on. I think I kind of know what's going on, but just want to be sure, you know what I mean? Two, three, four. 2, 3, 4. And we're doing that multiple times, actually. It's just we're appending pagan for some reason. I have no idea why, but we are. Not what we want. I have a feeling it works, but the results don't make it look like it's working. It's a bit weird. Just a bit. Yeah, that's weird. I would have thought continue refers to this for loop, right? You would think. Very bizarre. Though I have a feeling it works. It just doesn't look like it. What to do, what to do. Okay. Cursor 2 is our DOCTYPE. 3 is HTML. 4 is the greater than. And then when we see the greater than, is DOCTYPE as false. Why is it adding to the result? I don't get it. Doesn't make sense to me. Am I... Is it me or am I just really confused? In fact, actually, could continue be here. Quite possible. Quite possible. But no, it's still showing that. I mean, sure. Sure. I don't understand this, but yeah, sure. Whatever. What am I am I confusing myself or something? I don't get it. Can I do, okay, I'm just going to test something here. Parse loop. Like that. Continue parse loop. Can we do that? And, oops. Will this give me better results? No. I mean, there's no reason for this to... Well, there's no reason for this HTML and the greater than at the beginning of that array to exist, as far as I can see. But it's being added, which doesn't make sense to me. Is there a reason? When we break type switch right here, we're not adding anything by doing that, right? We advance the cursor. And we know it's a doctype at this point. So we loop through, once again, we get to this, printing out our cursor. We peek forward, check if it's available. Is it not? Okay, advance the cursor, continue parse loop. There's no reason for it to add a random token. No reason. But why is it happening? It just doesn't make sense. We get our resulting tokens from here. And then we pass that in here, our resulting token. Excuse me. That just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. That's bizarre. Anyone in the comment section perhaps knows what's going on, who can enlighten me on why I'm not seeing the latent stupidity of my brain, then please do make a comment of some description, please. That's really odd. That's really odd. We should be ignoring it. I think it is. Like, we're clearly setting is doctype as true. Clearly ignoring a part of it, but then it's still printing out HTML and greater than, which again, it doesn't really make much sense to me. But yeah, I think I'll just leave it there for now, and continue on in the next video, continuing to parse our results, and we'll continue doing this kind of thing, so appending to the results. Still don't understand why it's happening. It's very weird. It makes me wonder if I'm doing some kind of logic incorrectly, but by the looks of it, it seems fine. It's just weird. I don't really know what's going on there. But anyway, that's going to be it for now. It's almost a 45-minute video, so I'm going to leave it there for now. That's a brief introduction to parsing. We'll continue with the parsing, probably create tags in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.